So do you think we
perhaps
need,
an easy question?
do you think we need deregulation combined with?
No, I think, you know, again, I'm not the Minister of Energy. I don't seek to be the Minister of Energy. I seek to try and make sure that after October 6th, there's a government in the province of Ontario that's still interested in having a conversation about renewables. And I think, you know, what makes sense in terms of how many agencies there ought to be and stuff, I leave that to other people to offer their opinions on.
With respect to your call to action, how would you respond to the Margaret Wentes and Robert Fulfords who say this is a wacky Green Energy Act and we can't afford 70 cents and 80 cents a kilowatt hour when the grid's at 10 cents?
Well, I'd say those people are both smart enough to know that the total quantum of energy that's going to be at that price is so damn minuscule that it's hardly going to make any impact whatsoever. And you know, if I just want to be a contrarian, then I can write stuff like that. But honest to goodness, if I ran into those people in the street, you know, I think I would just say to them is like, is that really the limit to your understanding of this? Do you actually know? What the cost of, say, new nuclear units are going to be? Like, I mean, I think that there's a certain amount of myth debunking that needs to be done frontally. You know, I've read enough speeches of people ganging up on the Green Energy Act, from Wind Concerns Ontario to opposition politicians, to know that they are, you know, they're reckless in their presentation of information. And I'm not sure we've been as effective as we might have been at actually confronting them and call, you know, it's not exactly negative campaigning like the gentleman said, but to call a lie for what it is fair play where I come from. And I'm not sure we've done that very effectively.
Well, I agree, and I think this rise in energy prices is being greenwashed, and that's what Hudek's riding the bus on.
George, on the point of frontal debunking, and earlier today I shared some slides from the OPA on the IPSP, and that solar in the end, going out 30 years, according to the current plan, will only be 1.5% of the entire energy mix. It's so minuscule. If we had, and at IPSP, I bumped into Parker Gallant, who writes a lot for Wind Concerns in Ontario and others, and I talked about, let's have a debate. There's a lot of writing they do. We don't write much. I don't see many op-eds at all from the renewable energy community. But I'm good at putting events together. And if I had an event here where we invited the people who were criticizing the Green Energy Act, would you speak? Who should speak? Who can articulate powerfully and debunk the claims of the other side?
Well, you know, my take on this is we're in a 100-day window of an election campaign. Actually, we're in a 80-day window or something. Is not for a non-politician to be involved in those debates. Those are debates that are going to take place in the political arena, and they will be left to the politicians. The question is, what are each of you prepared to do? What are you able to do to make sure that you're actually an influencer in those debates? So I don't see that as a place for. I don't see that as my place. Like I said before, I feel passionately about these things. Obviously, the Green Energy Act and the feed-in tariff model bear my imprint. But they're bigger than anything that I got to do. There's now thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of champions, and I'm just trying to do my bit to call to attention the obligations that fall on a champion, and to encourage people that haven't thought of themselves before as champions to understand that they are. If we do that, then I'm confident that in every small town, community, hamlet, and neighborhood, we can win debates that maybe in the last 12 months we haven't necessarily won. I think the other thing is that you know, we have to do the best possible job of messaging what we've got going for us. Lives saved, jobs created, and even on issues of pricing, 1.5% according to a 30-year forecast of the IPSP, that's an important number. I think the other thing is, and you know, the US industry's done very well on this point in the last few weeks, is to say that solar aligns so beautifully with the highest peaking demand circumstances that we have. At the time when you're firing up those peaking gas plants, this is not 3-cent Niagara Falls. And I think that, again, that's a point which we need to more effectively emphasize. I'm not in the field doing public opinion research, but I have to believe that the searing events of the Middle East meltdown and the implications on gasoline prices and the serious circumstances in Fukushima have changed this issue, has created an appetite for renewable energy that is greater than the one when all of this started. And I think that it's incumbent upon all of us to put forward those messages somewhat more effectively than we have so far. And just for everyone, I've seen this before. Like you're watching an accident in slow motion, waiting for somebody else to do something. But actually, the someone else is in all of us in a way. And if all of the people that are out there doing things, whether that's people that are now working in the sector as an installer or someone that's now going to go to school in September in a new course that this community college or that minted, financiers that have amassed millions, hundreds of millions, in some cases perhaps billions of dollars, if all of those people use their influence in their sphere of influence, I think that our prospects are much more positive.
So I think I'm hearing it, George. But the issue is we've got logic versus sound bites. That's our entire challenge going into this election. As an industry, we get all caught up in our own reasons why this all works and all the rest of it, only to be basically have that all sort of swept away by a sound bite. And I'm hearing parts of it, but what is our sound bite?
Well, I think your sound bite is we save lives and create jobs. I haven't tested it, but I think that you have equally good sound bites. I get this focus on pocketbook issues and the like. That's a friggin' powerful trigger for how I'm going to vote. And I think that maybe, especially I could say in a room that's almost exclusively men, and not too many, but say a lot of engineers, maybe you're not as easy at ease with the emotional language of lives saved, but that's where this started. Eliminate coal as an aspirational goal of the people of the province of Ontario. The Ontario Medical Association said that 2,200 lives were lost every year prematurely because of poor air quality, and the studies have shown in the last few years that air quality in the Southern Ontario airshed has improved demonstrably. I think that's a very strong case. I think it's a strong soundbite, and I'd say bring a little emotion into the mix.
George, kind of just to follow up on that. To me, that sounds like championing what we've accomplished in the past, but let's get rid of McGuinty and move forward. We have enough solar, we have enough wind, and the program has succeeded tremendously. Let's move on and lower my taxes. Who's going to do that to Hudak? So what I'm asking is, what is the soundbite that inspires people to say, we need the Liberal government in to take it forward? And I'm also wondering, is the McGuinty government going to come out in the campaign and say, we're charging forward, we're going to be leaders in the green energy?
Oh, come on.
Or is it all going to be about HST and taxes?
But Jacob, really, I mean, please. Kerry mentioned in the last round he got 15. Bruce to Milton, they're moving forward, and by the end of June they're doing, 1,000 more megawatts? Like, come on. At a certain point in time, there's a risk that you all spend so much time reading the other guy's stuff that you actually lose sight of what you've got going for you. I think that the combination of the argument with respect to quality of the air and lives saved, with the opportunities for a new economic for a new sector that can produce economic good coming to life. I think that these are a powerful, dynamic duo of messages, and they have a whole series of other messages which support them as well, from including energy security and energy supply, which I rather suspect is much more of a concern today than it was 2 or 3 months ago. You know, this government has moved the initiative a long way forward. We're at the point now where we can all see some constraints and irritants, but the real question is whether on October the 7th you're going to have a government that wants to talk about those issues and irritants, or whether you have one that wants to roll up the carpet with everybody in it and heave it overboard or in the dump. And I think that those stark contrasts are there and available, and anyone that wants to spend too much more time trying to figure out which camp that they're in, or thinking that you can dance with the devil or what have you, I just think it's I'm not interested in faint hope clauses. I'm interested in the preservation of a government which has shown itself committed to the elimination of coal and to these progressive policies, and I'm interested in being able to have a longer-term conversation with them about fixing up some of the stuff that needs a fix so that more of the opportunities can be realized.
George, thanks for coming out.
Oh, I came out a long time ago, don't I?
All right, my question
I have used that line a time or two, so I apologize. It's the only one I've got working for me. You should have seen the mayor of the Reeve of Mount Forest when I used that line on him.
Well, my question is, do you foresee yourself coming back to provincial politics anytime soon?
I'm not running this fall, no. No. I mean, for me, I would say maybe we could make that the last question, since it's not anything to do about green energy. But I've been involved in politics since I was 15, and I had a very good run, and I had the more privilege than you could imagine in exercising authority over $250 billion and bringing in policies like this. And I took my best shot at trying to be the mayor of a city that I love very much, and the people respectfully declined my offer. And I'm off doing other things which are very, very rewarding. But politics will always be part of what I'm interested in, and who knows whether the time will come again where I decide to seek elected office. But I'll always be proud of the time that you and I spent cleaning up Eglinton during the garbage strike.